Quick disclaimer before I start, I apologize. I have two animals, a rabbit and a dog, and I kind of have to lock my dog in my room so he doesn't squeak the whole time. So if you might hear him squeaking, or my rabbit likes to chew on his bars of his playpen and he likes to jump around, so he's quite loud. Hey guys, today I have a really fun craft, well at least I think it's fun, and it implements origami and geometry, and I think it's a good time passer, especially during these times that we can't really leave our houses, and it uses materials that you should probably have at home, or I mean, just paper. So I'm going to teach you guys how to make these stellated icosahedrons, and I learned about them in my freshman class in geometry in high school, and I mean, I think they're pretty cool. So a little bit about the origami. We don't actually know like where it came from, but paper was first invented in China around 105 DC, well AD, and it was brought to Japan by monks in the 6th century. So handmade paper was a luxury item, and it was most likely a little thick, so making something like this would probably be very difficult. And paper folding in ancient Japan was strictly for ceremonial purposes, and it was often religious. So you might often see like the little crayons, or a lot of times now people make like the little stars and like write wishes and stuff on them. And in geometry, the icosahedron is a polyhedron with 20 faces. And so the icosahedron is explained there with the 20 faces, but it's stellated because it has 3 sides that come to a point. And so now we're going to get into making it. So you will need 30 pieces of square paper. I like to use sticky notes just because it's super easy. They're already cut for you. And the sticky side can kind of help, but it also gets in the way a lot because trying to like lift pieces up to fold them into each other, they get stuck quite often. You can use any type of paper. I prefer like thin paper. I've done this with like 1-inch squares up to 12-inch squares. The 1-inch is almost impossible to put together unless you've got tiny tweezers, and my fingers are a little big, so trying to get in there and fold them is quite difficult. And I've used scrapbook paper for the 12-inch ones, and it comes out with a huge icosahedron, and they're really cool. So we'll get into, I'll show you how to make these. Alright, so we have our 30 pieces of square paper. I like to use sticky notes, of course. So we're going to be making a purple icosahedron for, of course, K-State. So I start off by taking a piece and folding it in half. I like to fold the sticky sides, like the sticky like in, so at the finished product it doesn't glue a piece together that we need to be able to slide other pieces into. So we take this apart, and you start by folding in, I like to do the right corners, so the right bottom quarter, then you flip it around and do the sticky side right bottom corner. A lot of people are really extent on trying to make everything perfect creases and fold everything perfectly. I like to do that, but with time it just takes a little bit extra, and I like to get things done quickly. So you can see in this one, all the points are kind of different, and I had to refold a couple pieces because I kind of forgot how to make these at first, but then once I got going, it was pretty much muscle memory. I used to make hundreds of these in high school. So once you've got those 2 pieces together, fold this in half so you've got a rectangle, And you're going to take this top point right here and fold this down to the bottom edge and try to make this point right here as sharp as you can get it. Of course, mine's not going to be as sharp as I can get it, but I'm doing it. Here's like the sticky side in, so it might stick to your table or to each other, and you can see like I've got glitter stuck in mine. So then you flip it around and you do the same. And then you open this up, so you've got this like shape. And then you take this piece and you're going to fold it over so it comes up flush to this. And then you turn this around and you do the same exact thing. So then you can pick it up and you've got this little piece extra and you fold it over. So it's a little flap. And you do it on both sides. So once you have this diamond shape, you can turn it over, and so these flaps, we're gonna fold them together so that they meet. And then you'll keep doing this. I've already done one before this video so that I can show you how they all go together. So we'll do one more together. Take off your piece of paper, fold it together. And as I've learned today, a lot of sticky notes aren't perfect squares, so you might get a little like extra hangover, or it might not perfectly, like it bubbles up. So you can choose to cut this off, but it's not super important for this origami. So bottom right corner in, bottom right corner in, fold it in half for the rectangle, fold this down, and if you want, you can take something with like a hard edge, like I've got this seam ripper, and you can make your creases even sharper if you want. I just tend to use my fingers. Sometimes I will go for the sharper edge. Fold that one in, open, fold across, fold across, fold together, fold the flaps in. And then fold it together. So once you have three pieces of the folded paper together, you can, I like to keep them all together usually. Sometimes I will fold all 30 of my pieces and then start building. Sometimes I just do it like in waves. So we'll do it in waves. So you take your three, you can choose to unfold them now, I like to, and then you're gonna start sliding them together. So these have, by folding them this way, you have like a little pocket, and you have your angled pieces. You wanna slide your angled piece like into the other's pocket so that the tiny flap is into like this medium flap. And by doing like folding the sticky part on the inside, it helps with this flap not being the sticky part. So whenever I first made this white icosahedron, I folded my sticky parts on the outside, and it kind of glued those flaps to the rest of it, and it was kind of difficult to pull apart, especially whenever we get later down and I've got it's all like really tight. So then you slide this other one in, and oops, you fold it all around. Sometimes it gets a little difficult to juggle these all together. And then you open this flap and you've got your first point. And so this is 1 of 20. There are 19 more points that you will make. So for time's sake, I'm going to show you on my finished icosahedron instead of the purple one we started on, because this is pretty late into the video. So for your icosahedron, you're going to want 5 like points like in a circle, and so like anywhere you look there's going to be 5 points. And so this is like usually like the base where you can sit it on, so it can sit really any way. So you keep folding these 3 paper points into these triangles, and you keep doing this until you come all the way around. So once you get to your last point, these 3 are going to just have, like, you're not going to have like an extra piece that you have to add in. They're just going to be ready for you to fold. And it can be a little difficult to fold these, but like it is possible. I've made lots of these. Honestly, I think they're not indestructible, but they're really strong. When I made them in high school, I had a bunch of tiny like toddler cousins, and so I could give them to them and they could throw them around and play with them and they wouldn't tear. So I hope you guys really liked this tutorial. Hopefully it helped and you guys will want to try it out. And they're fun and they can take like a couple hours to make, so it can pass the time by, and right now we all have ample time. Thank you.